morning. We're ready to begin Module 8, which has to do with the exceptionalities that you could come in contact in your classroom. And we're going to be looking at the laws that make this really an important thing. This is probably the second most important module of the whole class. And we'll look at those laws and see how they affect the students and how they would affect you as a teacher as well. Um, it's your responsibility. We have exceptionality specialists, but when you have a child in your classroom, it's your responsibility to provide that child or that student with educational techniques and information that will meet their needs. So it's kind of important that you do understand all of these things. The second thing that we need to remember about this, we may see a child doing some of these behavioral things, clues, I guess you could say, to what they may problems they may have. We can't diagnose that. It's not our job to diagnose a learning disability. It is our job to describe what's happening and what's going on and to give that information to the parents. And then from there, the parents go to the pediatricians, and the pediatricians or the experts at the school on the RTI, which is the intervention group that meet, they can go on further and make studies and come up with a designation for that child. But we cannot label and should not label. In other words, we can't say that Johnny has dyslexia or that he has dysgraphia or any of that. We can say that he is exhibiting some behaviors that might contribute to this, but labeling is a no-no. The second thing we have to remember about this is that the child or the student is, in the first and foremost part, and human. It's not an autistic child. It's a child with autism. And we have to remember that because that's so important that we treat them like they were a regular person with a disability, and then we can make those changes. I know I find myself slipping into that category and using that terminology incorrectly quite often. And it's been a while, and I've been trying to teach myself that is a child with a disability, whatever that label might be. This is the one where we're going to do the research on these exceptionalities. There will be a list of topics that you can choose from. Once again, you will need to check the list and see who has already chosen something. And if no one has, you give me your top 3 choices. Because when they start coming in, they might come in quite quickly, and I need to have extra choices to go to because the popular ones seem to go fast. If you have a burning desire to do autism, I do a lot with autism in this particular module. It has to be above and beyond what is done with this particular module. So that one will be included, but you know that you've got to do an exceptional job on that. Once you've signed up for it, then you go ahead and do your research. There is a template. And the reason I did a template is that I wanted to channel your effort and channel your focus so that when we finish, you're going to have maybe 20 different kinds of research projects and 20 different kinds of exceptionalities that have been researched. And I would suggest very strongly that you save them in some way, shape, or form. It could go in your portfolio so that when you get in the classroom and you say, oh, wow, Johnny, I think he has this problem. What are the characteristics I need to look for? You can go back to the research and find that, and that will also give you some strategies to use in the classroom, because before you go to the RTI group and meet with them, you need to have tried some strategies in the classroom. And then there's always extra information that you can look up and get more information about. The more you know, the better you will be able to meet the needs of that particular student. It seems like in every class, I have someone who does not bother signing up for a topic, and you lose if you don't sign up for the topic. Because if somebody else has, then we have a problem. And the person that signed up followed directions, and you would not have. So please go through that process. After this introduction is over, you will find the sign up sheet. Well, the sign up sheet will be at the bottom of this. This is where I will always highlight, just like I did with the movies and the cultures. I'll highlight that when that topic has been chosen. So if you choose to skip this introduction, I guess you are out of luck because that needs to be done. Um, let's see, what else did I think? I guess that takes care of that. So let's get on to the rest of the module. For the for the objectives that we're going to study this time, we're going to look at the characteristics of special needs of students with exceptionalities. We are going to be able to identify key instructional practices and accommodations associated with effective teaching of students with exceptionalities. We understand the provisions and the mandates of the federal and state laws affecting students from diverse populations. And we observe and reflect on these students as you do your observations. I think I haven't required it yet, but I really would like to have every one of you observe in some kind of program with exceptionalities. It's just a good background for you to have. Other than that, I want you to note if you see students or the teacher tells you she has students with exceptionalities, then you can tune into that and see how she handles all of that. Just be aware that they are out there, and sometimes I think they're increasing in number. I did have a student already who's done observation in on autism, and in a class for autistic children or students with autism. See, I told you I had problems with that. Um, I've had another one go to a school that's specifically for deaf students. So, or students with hearing problems. Golly, I should redo this so I don't present the wrong model here. You're going to have the assignments listed below. Remember, the most important thing out of this one is the mini project that you'll be doing. And the topics include autism, Asperger's syndrome, bipolar, attention deficit disorder with plain and with hyperactivity, so it's ADD or ADHD, cerebral palsy, cystic fibrosis, dwarfism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, epilepsy, language impaired, Down syndrome, dysgraphia, fetal alcohol syndrome, hearing impaired, gifted and talented, and yes, they are considered an exceptionality because they have special needs and usually have some kind of an IEP that has to be reached and has to be followed. Obsessive wow, I better start all over. Obsessive compulsive disorder, sensory disorder, vision disorders, central auditory processing disorder, Tourette's, hard of hearing, or any of those that have to do with people who have loss of hearing or are deaf, sickle cell anemia, which is an interesting one, and dyscalculia. If there are someone that you would like to, or some topic that you would like to explore, please let me know and we can add it to the list. I'm going to take one of these off because the model is already done for that particular one, and I will highlight that in yellow to start off with. The yellow highlighted ones are the ones that have been chosen and you cannot do. Let's see. So you have your assignments, and your first one to do is always the prior knowledge one. And I'd like you to do that without having any knowledge about what I've been talking about in this video. The second one is a discussion, and yes, you will respond to this one. And it's on the video about Jessica Parks, and I want you to respond. There's some interesting videos in this particular module, so I hope you watch them all. And basically, a lot of them are on autistic, children with autism, so you'll get to see some of the characteristics coming through. Your third one is the exceptionality research. You have the format to follow. You choose your topic, send 3 choices to me, and I will list your name by one of those, and then you use the form, the template that I provided for your format for this information. And case studies. Uh, you have exceptionalities. We're doing, I don't know what the chapter is, but it's case 23, 24, 25, and 26. And then you have your final reflection, which should reflect the growth in information that you have learned from this module. And all assignments will be due by October the 14th. So you have quite a bit of time to get this particular one done. And I think it's Module 9 will open on October 10th. So a week from now, Module 9 will be there. I think that pretty much takes care of all the information that you need to know. This is a longer recording, and I hope that it all comes out right. Have a good one.